Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annalisa and this is Homemade Sunshine. So in this week's video, this is a response to a viewer comment on one of my previous videos recently. I don't remember which one, but it was asking, what are things I do not buy secondhand? So this will be a list of 10, maybe 11 things that I do not buy secondhand. So I have been thrifting, yard sailing, shopping secondhand my whole life. Most things I purchase are secondhand, unless they're a direct need at that very moment. And you know, it's important to know the difference between a need and a want. So that is what I try to stick to, and I buy most stuff secondhand, but there are some things I don't buy. And my disclaimer is, if you buy these things secondhand, that's fine. I don't pass any judgment. We each have to make our own choices and live our own lives. And sometimes I've heard other people's lists and I've been like, well, I bought that secondhand. So yeah, either way, it's no biggie. But if you're new here, welcome. My name is Annalisa. Like I said, I am 26 years old and a full-time homemaker, soon to be stay-at-home mom. I have a little boy coming soon, and yeah, I like a lot of thrifting and secondhand living, basically frugal living. That's what this channel is all about, is frugal living and whatever else comes tied in with that. So let's start our list. First is grocery items, and my mom proposed this idea, and it was, we do see this from time to time, like used cleaners. Sometimes they're unused, but especially I sometimes worry with used cleaners is you don't know how old they are. Have they been stored properly? Have they been sitting in somebody's garage getting like weirdly hot and damp, all that sort of stuff? So grocery items like Tide, cleaners, those sorts of things, I do not buy secondhand. And most of the time people are asking like not cheap for them anyways, so I don't bother with those. Next is used makeup or lotion, like a partially used lotion I don't purchase, or used cosmetics. I have bought new cosmetics. Last summer my mom and I both got, I think it was Mary Kay, I believe it was Mary Kay, a bunch of lipsticks, because a woman who shopped from them, or no, it was not Mary Kay, it was Estee Lauder, because you know how they sell the gift packages all the time with like the little bags? Well, this lady would buy those and she never used the lipsticks. So she said, I don't like the lipsticks, so here's all the lipsticks. And you could tell that they were brand new. So that was fine. I was willing to purchase those, and they've been great lipsticks actually. So if they're new, that's fine. But most of the time they're used, and we usually don't buy used cosmetics, just for the, you know, bacteria that can be living in there. And not to say that other people are dirty, but if you have sensitive skin like I do, I have very sensitive skin that can be prone to have flare-ups. I am prone to skin problems, so it is not a good idea for me to use something else that has been on somebody else's skin. So next is kits, if I can't tell if it's all there. So it's like a kit, puzzles, or board games. If they're in the saran wrap, that's great. Or if it's a game that you can easily tell it has all the pieces, like Candyland or like Chutes and Ladders, like those are games that are like the board, the little people, and some dice. So that's not like a hard one to know that there's all the pieces there. But like if it's like a craft kit or another kit that you put everything together, I just find it annoying that you would have to, you know, then figure out if all the pieces are there, and then you get home and then they're not. And you know, it's just, I would rather not have to deal with trying to find pieces to make something work if they're not all already there. So I usually steer away from puzzles, unless they're like little kid wooden puzzles. I've picked those up for my son, like the Melissa and Doug, because it's very easy to see that all the pieces are there. But I usually don't buy adult puzzles or anything like that, unless you really think that these people have all the pieces. And I mean, oftentimes a piece or two is missing, especially with kids, like puzzles and things like that. Next is used Teflon pans. I did buy a pan in a video previously, which you guys saw, which has been a great pan. It's like $100 on Amazon new, and I got it for $10 at a thrift store, and I could tell it was brand new. It had never been used, because now I can tell that I've used it some, like on the bottom, but it was in brand new condition, so that I was not concerned with. But most of the time, if they have scratches, you're not supposed to use those anymore, so I just steer clear of any of that sort of like Teflon-y sort of thing. Unlike, say, if you bought something in cast iron. I don't generally use cast iron. I have a glass top stove. I know you can use cast iron on a glass top stove. I am quite heavy-handed and accident prone, and my husband has said, in addition to like my mom too, they're like, you're gonna crack the glass top. So I always say if they both agree, then that means they're probably right, and I agree with it too, is that I'm very heavy-handed and I would probably crack the entire glass top. So next is used Tupperware / plasticware, like plastic containers, whether it's, you know, Rubbermaid or whatever. I do not purchase those secondhand. I feel like most of the time when they are somewhere secondhand, they're heavily stained, they've been heavily used, they just look old and grody. I rarely go somewhere. I mean, a lot of these are not, like if somebody had a brand new box of them that they had gotten, you know, like say, like you were at like somebody had passed away and they had like a brand new box of Rubbermaid containers, that's different. You know, like they purchased it, never got it out, but most of the time it's stained. A lot of those plastics can hold smells, all of that sort of stuff. So I do not buy that plasticware secondhand. Next is used water bottles. And I find water bottles are really hard to clean. Most of the time, by the time they end up at a thrift store, reusable water bottles are pretty nasty. I have not ever seen one that looked great. They're usually, and also they're hard to clean if they've got spouts and that sort of thing. It can be hard for them to be cleaned and make sure that they're free of mold. So it's just something I don't bother with myself. Silver that isn't jewelry. So silver jewelry is different. I don't like to maintain silver. If it has to be polished, I don't want to do it. I don't mind to do it with jewelry. I do mind to do it with like silver trays or silver teapots or things like that. That I don't have the time in my life right now to be dedicating to taking the tarnish off of silver pieces. I don't like using Tarnix. I think it smells like, I don't know, bad eggs. I think it's just, oh, I just don't like the smell of it. So I don't want to have to polish silver. I don't love it enough to care to take care of it in that way. So it's a high maintenance item. I don't like purchasing high maintenance items in general. If it's going to be something that I'm going to have to really baby and take care of very delicately, I generally will not purchase it. This doesn't apply to like a dress that I need to wash on delicate, like that's fine, but not kitchenware especially. Next is prescription glasses, which some people do purchase, even if like, especially if they're a designer frame, they might consider switching out the frames, or like not the frames, the lenses. I do not bother with that. That's a lot of work and something that'll probably get put on the to-do list that'll never get done. And it's just not something I want to invest my time into, is buying somebody else's prescription designer glasses that are not going to be my prescription, I'm sure. It's hard. How many times have you met somebody with your same prescription? Now this is different if you're somebody who has like readers, because you know those are easier to be like, you know, like you can get them at the dollar store, and or not dollar store, I'm going to say drugstore. Maybe you can get them at the dollar store, but I know you can get them at the drugstore. Now if you knew that somebody had like the same exact one as you did, then that would be different. But next is high-end shopping bags. So I don't know if you've seen this at your sales, but I have seen it at mine. Somebody will have high-end shopping bags like a Louis Vuitton bag or a Tiffany & Co. I do not buy those. I don't want to decorate with them. I mean, some people do decorate with them, which I can understand if you wanted to purchase it for that reason. But it's just not something that I would ever purchase. I don't like keeping around old bags or like old cardboard boxes because I worry about bugs. So that is something that I'm not going to purchase. Next is easily duped items. So items that are oftentimes faked and that you can't tell if it's real or not. I'm not somebody who's easily able to authenticate items. I mean, unless they're like obviously not leather or whatever. So that is not something that I'm interested in, is buying somebody's bag that they're like, oh, well, this is Fendi or Gucci or Louis Vuitton. Because most of the time, if somebody's selling it at a yard sale, it's going to be fake. I mean, there might be rarely one that isn't, but it's just not something that I'm generally super interested in, unless you already love the bag and it's $5 and you're like, oh, I don't care if it's fake. But usually most of my designer bags that I have, which I don't carry designer handbags a ton, but I do have some, were purchased more from reputable consignment stores that I trusted more than just somebody's yard sale. And then number 11, last but not least, is anything dry clean only. I will check skirts and dresses every time. I do not like to buy dry clean only items unless you're looking for, like, you've got a teenager and you're looking for a prom dress, you wanted a dress to wear for your wedding, you needed a skirt suit or a pantsuit for a work something or other, or maybe you work in an environment where you have to wear suits and you're expected you're gonna have a dry cleaning bill. So that's not my life. I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom soon. I've been a homemaker before that, and it's not worth it for me to have dry clean items in my wardrobe. It costs a lot of money to dry clean things, and it's just not something that I am willing to deal with. So the main moral of the story of the two, we can sum up most of these points into two major categories. High maintenance items, things that require a lot of TLC and, you know, polishing and scrubbing, things that can't go in the dishwasher, all of that sort of stuff. That in general is not something that I'm going to be purchasing. Anything that's really a high maintenance sort of a thing that's going to require a lot of extra attention and care, because I don't want to have to do that. And it depends on the item. Some things, I mean, if you really love collecting silver, then you might not mind polishing silver. I don't love it, so I don't want to have, you know, a bunch of silver trays on display. I've seen some ladies do some beautiful displays of silver trays. I don't want to have to polish them, so I don't want to have to add that to my list of chores. So that is the one side. And then the other, we've got high maintenance, and then we've got hard to clean. So, I mean, a lot of things you can clean, and if it can go in the washing machine, we're fine. I'll throw it in the washing machine. As long as it can go in the washing machine or the dishwasher, I'm good. But if it's something that you can't easily clean and get back to its regular state, then that would be something that I wouldn't get, such as old Rubbermaid tubs that are stained from having pasta sitting in them too long. I know it's clean, but I don't want to purchase somebody else's stained Tupperware. You know what I mean? So, or just other things that aren't easily clean, like makeup. It's hard to, I mean, I think I've seen that people clean makeup, but it's not something that I don't wear enough makeup. I'm not super interested in makeup to the degree to be like, oh, I'm gonna fix this palette and I'm gonna do all this stuff to clean it. And because I have very sensitive skin, it's not something that I wanna risk getting a big flare up on my face. So those are 11 things total. We'll run through the list one more time real quick. Grocery items, used or unused. You don't know the condition they've been stored in. You don't know how old they are. Used makeup and lotion. You don't know if they have a skin thing that might irritate your skin. Also, you don't know how it's been stored or cared for. Kits, if you can't tell if it's all there, including puzzles and board games, because nothing's more frustrating than trying to finish a puzzle and there's not all the pieces. Used Teflon pans, not good for you if they're scratched. Don't worry about those unless they're new. Used Tupperware and plasticware, holds on to smells, can be stained and really gunked up, messed up. And most of them are not even that expensive, like for your average like thing. I know on Black Friday that the Rubbermaid tubs go on sale a lot, like the Rubbermaid containers. So if you need some, I would just ask for that as a Christmas gift more so than purchasing them used. Unless, you know, if that's not in your budget and you need to buy the used ones, it's totally fine. No judgment. Used water bottles. I've never seen a good condition used water bottle at a yard sale. They're almost all the times heavily scratched, paint's chipping off, they smell weird, they're hard to clean, they're hard to get clean, especially if they can't go in the dishwasher, the spouts get really dirty, all of that. Silver, once again, high maintenance. I don't like to have to deal with high maintenance unless it's jewelry. I don't mind to clean silver jewelry once a year. Prescription glasses, high maintenance in the fact that you'd have to deal with the item and fixing it. to be able to be worn by you before you can actually wear it, and you're gonna have to invest a whole bunch more money to get new lenses in it, because replacing lenses and glasses is very expensive. It's not cheap. I've looked into it before with my own glasses because I've liked the frames, and to replace the lenses is not cheap. So high-end shopping bags, I don't like decorating with them, so it's not something I'm gonna purchase. And I also worry about bugs. So, because one time with cardboard boxes, my mom, I wish I could remember the whole story, but they had like a bug guy come out to like look for termites and things or something like that when I was really young. And he said not to keep a whole lot of cardboard boxes in your house, because a lot of the times these places where they're manufactured, bugs will like go in and lay their eggs, and it won't be a problem while you have them just in your home for a brief time. But if you keep them for a long time, those eggs can hatch, and then you'll have like a roach problem. So he was just telling her that as like, hey, don't keep cardboard boxes around, because that can lead to cockroaches and other bugs that just lay their eggs in these little things, and then they can come out in your home. So that's what a bug guy told her many moons ago. So easily duped items, unless you're fine with them being dupes, but you also don't want to get scammed into paying a whole bunch of money for something that's like, you know, an Amazon dupe item easily. And then dry clean only fabrics, high maintenance and cost a lot of money. So that is it for this week's video. Those are the things I do not buy secondhand. So like I said, I'm willing to buy most things secondhand, but we all have things that we don't want to buy secondhand. So leave me a comment down below. What are the things that you do not buy secondhand? I'd be very curious to know, because we all have different standards. And if there's something on this list that you do buy secondhand and you're going to say, Annalisa, what the heck, I buy that secondhand? It's okay. You're fine. It's fine. If you buy these secondhand and you're not worried about it, then that's okay. You know, we're all different. Everybody has different levels of comfort with purchasing things used. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I post new videos every week. Until next week. Bye.